Oh my, it seems like Reds are leaving the sinking ship, which is named Russia. Dmitry Kazak, who was the close advisor of Putin, has resigned today. What is interesting about this person that he was really close to Putin. In 1999, he joined the government, he was a chief of staff, then became the deputy prime minister of Russia, so his career was kind of perfect. But what is important, and it has been already confirmed, that Kazak was against the invasion of Ukraine. So he was actually the only official within the Kremlin's circle who was against this military intervention. Maybe that's why we haven't heard from him for a very, very long time. Kazak also supervised Minsk agreements from the Russian side, and he said that Russia is forced to leave those, but still he was against the military action. And just for you to understand, he's not the Russian oppositioner, he grew up within the Russian system. He used to be Putin's friend. Well, maybe he is still his friend, no one knows, but I would suggest Dmitry Kazak not to stay close to the windows, because the information that he opposed the war in Ukraine appeared not long time ago, roughly 20 days, something like that. And next short period of time, he resigns. I think those two things are pretty much connected here. I think that Dmitry Kazak simply doesn't fit into the current Kremlin's military agenda with his mindset, yeah? I think he was asked to resign because this information went public about his personal opinion on war in Ukraine. Well, I think that he understands that war will not bring anything good for Russian Federation, that after all it's the dead end for Russia as the state. But Putin simply doesn't care, he sees his own existence connected to the war, so he will continue and he will dismiss everyone around who has different opinion. And you know what? It seems like Putin wants to even escalate, because military drills were finished the day before yesterday, but all of the military equipment, all of the soldiers are still out there in Belarus, and there are no any convoys coming back to Russia registered by OSINT Analytics. It means that Russia somehow put 100,000 soldiers on Belarus territory by the time Russia needs military in Ukraine. Exercises are over. Why do you keep them there? You may understand why, and we'll see in the coming days whether Russia may take them out from Belarus or not, but I'm already kind of concerned about that. Well, here I partially agree with Chancellor Merz. He said that forced peace in Ukraine will push Putin to look for the next target. Russia is currently trying to destabilize our free societies. A peace imposed without freedom will drive Putin to seek his next goal. Well, I personally think that Putin may continue some sort of the provocations or small attacks or hybrid war against NATO while conducting the military action in Ukraine. If we see that deploying 100,000 soldiers out there towards Belarus is not a problem for Russia even now, it means that Russia could potentially escalate. So I wouldn't connect it to Ukraine directly, but obviously if the war in Ukraine stops, freezes, Russia potentially might have lots of the new forces or old forces used in Ukraine for further military action against other countries. And here I partially agree with German Chancellor. Guys, we're at the Polish government website, so here's the information that Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski meets head of Chinese diplomacy, Wang Yi. Wang Yi visited Poland, first time for the last 6 years. So what's the reason of such important figure, Wang Yi, to visit Poland? Especially right now that there is some sort of the escalation, then Russia launches drones to Poland. And with all of those military drills, well, the answer is simple. Poland closed the Belarus border. So it actually means the cancellation of the ground transportation of the Chinese goods to European Union. That is one of the biggest consumer of the Chinese goods, together with the United States of America, by the way. So just ships are now available for China for deliveries. So obviously China doesn't like it. That's why they sent the whole foreign minister to speak with Poland, but negotiations, unfortunately, for China at least, failed. Poland refused to open the border by the time there is the threat from Russia and Belarus altogether. So China, don't go to Poland to speak about opening border for your goods. Speak with freaking Putin, because he escalates there in the region and Poland just counteracts to everything of that. I think it was really a proper decision from Poland to cross that border. Of course, it's the national security. So Chinese officials knocked to the wrong door, trying to resolve this issue, right? Well, I think that Polish side, especially Radoslaw Sikorski, foreign minister of Poland, told China exactly what I'm telling you now. act on Russia to de-escalate. Otherwise, the border is going to be closed for an unknown period of time. So actually this situation might be profitable for us because China needs European Union markets. And maybe it might lead to some of the de-escalation in the region, but still for this hour, Russian forces and Russian troops are being placed in Belarus. To some other news, Russia continued to equip their Shahed drones with the jet engines. Many of them were spotted recently in Ukraine. For the last 5 days, there were no massive Russian drone attacks on Ukraine, as Russia, for example, conducted on 10th and 11th of September, launching more than 800 of the air targets on Ukraine and, by the way, on Poland as well. But still, every night, roughly 40-50 drones are spotted in Ukrainian airspace, and many of them now are like that, flying with a very high speed, Shahed drones with significant warhead. For example, this is the shell itself, it's 60 kilograms, quite big, plus there is the shrapnel inside, so that is how Russia deals with Ukrainian infrastructure, military, and of course civilians, because they don't really care what to strike. But the Ukrainian railway company Ukrzaliznytsia now says that Russia is focused to damage their infrastructure, railways, stations, bridges, electrical substations, and so on. Definitely I may confirm it because this information is publicly available. Russia disturbs the Ukrainian logistics, because Ukraine delivers most of the weapons out there to the front lines using railways. Alright, good news, we have already told you in one of my recent videos that Ukraine obtained the first military package that will be delivered to Ukraine very soon from the United States. European partners are paying for it, and there will be many missiles, Patriot missiles delivered to Ukraine. There will be PAX remotes, very expensive, because Russia started to use ballistics on Ukraine more than before. Just remember the recent attack on the Ukrainian ministry right in the central part of Kiev, not far away from the main square. And I think that Russia might intensify those strikes on Ukrainian government buildings, including the parliament building, Verkhovная Rada of Ukraine, also in the central part, or maybe president's office, but I expect this sort of the escalation. So to conquer it, Ukraine needs more of the tools, ammunition for Patriot, which is absolutely great that Ukraine obtains that, but still it is uncomparable to what Ukraine obtained before under previous White House administration. About the Trump news, well, there are some for today, but not really relative to Ukraine. Trump is on his visit to United Kingdom, where he met King Charles, and I'm very thankful for King because he rose the attention about Ukraine and the threat for democracy. Here I want to play the short clip for you, just 15 seconds.
Today, as tyranny once again threatens Europe, we and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine to deter aggression and secure peace. And our allies.
Yeah, allies. Come on, Donny, are you our ally or not? And after all, he just nods a little. He's forced to do it because, after all, it's King, and King Charles understands that clearly. Most of the European leaders, they understand it. The threat from autocracies is just crystal clear. But Donny, really, he doesn't give a about the situation. Wow, after all, Europe plans more sanctions on China. Will that be enough for Trump? No, never be enough for Trump, absolutely. So what Europe wants to do is to apply some of the sanctions on separate companies that continue operating working for Russian military sector. Here we are not even saying about the energy companies in China that continue to purchase Russian fossil fuels. No, it's just electronics, drone part production, and so on. Yeah, even though this step is good from Europe, but Donald Trump may come out with new demands for Europe to apply more sanctions or to make some other things, cancel completely implement MAGA in Europe. So his demands have no ground behind, absolutely. The main idea for Trump is to blame someone else for his failure in resolving the war in Ukraine. And the most tricky thing that it cannot be resolved, actually, from the United States of America under any sort of the president, because only Putin may stop this war. Unfortunately, he started it and he should stop it. But we see he's not willing to stop. That's why Ukraine should obtain enough weapons for Putin to change his mind and at least cease fire. In the current situation, probably it's the way out for Ukraine, like no fighting, cease fire, and wait for Russian regime to collapse, because it will happen after all, like in a few years, for sure. My friends, please check out my channel for another videos. For example, today I filmed a detailed review about the situation on the front lines, and also there's some exclusive content for members of the channel and also for Patreon supporters. Guys, thank you so much for supporting me financially. The link for my Patreon is in the video description just below. You make my job possible. Thank you so much for it. You see, we have less integrations on this channel. It's all because of you, because you support me and I don't need to disturb my audience with those integrations, right? Actually, I have lots of the proposals to advertise something here, but I would rather spend time filming one more video for you guys or some exclusive content for my patrons than to put some of the integration. That's my new policy, let's say. And my friends, as always, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.